Everybody says, I don't have time to talk to Hashem. I said, you don't say that to Hashem. Because he'll give you time to do it. He'll give you time to cry out. And you don't want to cry out.
And watch Mr. Murray.
Stop coming at each other. And start looking at who we are. Because we're special people. The reason I chose, and there was a story that happened with my mother. My mother died before I became an Orthodox Jew. She saw me on the journey.
A heck of a run by Murray.
But my mother and I had a conversation. My mother said, when you were born, she said, I saw this glow on you that she didn't understand. And when she passed away, Hashem sent her to me in a dream. And she said, Calvin, you have a Jewish neshama. Go on and finish your journey. Because I had both feet locked in. You know how you lock your feet in and you get on a ride somewhere and they lock you in and set you all up? I was locked. Bam, boom, boom. I'm not going anywhere. I am not going to be a Jew. My wife was already there. She was gone. She was just praying. Please, God, get this hard, stubborn man to turn, please. And Hashem sent my mother's voice. That's why I chose Yosef as the name, because Hashem always been speaking to me from a very little kid. When I played football, I wish I could, oh man. There's a run that I did in high school. 11 guys had a chance to hit me. And before I got in the stance, this voice spoke to my head and said, Cal, this is what it's going to be like when you accept my ways. And right as soon as I got the ball, a big old lineman jumped on my back. And I struck him off. The other guy came, and I'm still coming around the corner. And I'm running. And the other guy, he's like, oh, I'm going to get him. He's going. And I stopped, and he went. That's hard to do when you're going full speed and stop. Stop. And you get on by, and you cut on through, and put on. And then I'm running, and I'm doing this. I'm looking.
But he's a heck of a runner. Nobody could get a hook on him.
And then you on the film, literally, you can see it like a light just lights up on the film. And it's like where Hashem will show me now who's your enemy. Now who's going to stop you. Nobody can stop you because you belong to me. I had no idea what was going on in my life. But Hashem was always speaking to me all the time. I was up in Canada, Edmonton. Crazy folks up there. It was 21 below. We're playing football because I was playing for the Eskimos then. And they were like, man, that's 21 below, man, heat wave, let's go. I'm like, man, we was loaded up with gloves and but they were crazy. And what happened to me was there was this couple. They were standing on the corner because the Pope was coming to their town, coming to Edmonton. I'm like, wow, I want to see who this guy is, you know? And this couple that was standing there, I walk up to them, and they come up to me and they go, you're a Levi. I said, what you talking about? Levi? I'm not Jewish. This was 10 years before I even met Amuna. They saw my soul. They said, yes, you are. You're Jewish. I said, no, I'm not. How can I be Jewish? I'm not Jewish. I never told that to people. You're the first one to hear about that. And I believe they were angels telling me who I was. Because I heard the story of Joseph 4 times in 2 days. Hashem was already calling me. He was already putting me on the path. He broke me down. I'm talking about when he broke me down financially. I was putting 2 pennies together. Didn't know how I was going to make it. But Hashem said, you read Psalms 86, son. And I read it. And Hashem started changing my life. He started bringing me. He started taking me through. He started building me up, building me up, building me up, building me up. And I was getting fired up just like I'm getting ready to play Michigan. Y'all know how big that game is. That's how I was feeling. I was getting fired up. I am so excited about my Judaism. And sometimes it hurts me when I hear my brothers and my sisters say, I don't understand why you want to be a Jew. I'm like, I want to be so close to Hashem that I want to be like Moses. I want to stand, I want to hear you speak to me. And why don't we, as a Jewish people, want it? Can y'all answer the question? Why do we don't want it?
He's dead center.
Hello, it's like when I talk to a class, they answer. Instead, everybody's like, are you talking to me? Come on, let's talk.
Seriously?
We're all family here. This is just a family gathering. I'm just happy to try and encourage you. Why do you think we don't want it?
Fear.
Fear of what?
Fear of changing what we know, or what we think we know of reality.
Okay. Anybody else? I know you already know. Huh? Mm-hmm. That's true. But you know what? Hashem has his way of bringing in and speaking to us and encouraging us and loving on us so that we will come and give our hearts to him. And I worked really hard. I had to give up everything. You imagine? I got fired from my being a youth pastor because I was too Jewish. I'm serious. I wasn't. I could. Yeah. That's good, Rabbi. See, man, I gotta take you with me, man. You're all right, brother. You're a good brother, man. You're a good brother. I love my brother, man. Thank you. But yes, I know I'm skipping around a little bit, but when I was a youth pastor in the church, I was teaching the kids about the hermeneutics of the Bible, how to read the Bible, how to understand it. And the kids were like really getting on fire for it, and parents heard about it. They had a meeting, and they said, we gotta fire this man. He's teaching the kids heretics, man. So they had a meeting, they brought me in, all the pastors, they sat down, and they said, man, we firing you because you too Jewish. I said, isn't Jesus Jewish?
Oh, ouch.
Oh. They were like, yeah? I said, well, what's the problem here? He said, well, you're too Jewish, and you're going a way that we don't want to go. And I was like, what? I said, fine. That income was paying my mortgage.
Wow.
I was like, oh man, Hashem, what's happening here? So we tapped into the Messianic movement, which was just a way to do Judaism, but another way of doing Christianity, but it was a Jewish flavor. But they would come out, they would have the same thing. If we were in the Messianic movement right now, you brothers with the black hats on and everything, they had the black hats, they had the tallest, they wrapped the tefillin, they had everything. The women, they would be dressed the same thing in the nice dresses and everything, and they would be wearing the head coverings and everything. You wouldn't know. Now, when service starts, that's when you would know the difference, because they bring out 2 Torah scrolls.
Mm-hmm.
We don't bring out 2 Torah scrolls every time we're coming out, unless it's Rosh Chodesh or a special time. They would bring it out, and that was because they were bringing out the New Testament. See, so that's how you know that you were in the wrong place.
He just kept on churning.
And then also in my life, you know what? I want to ask you to ask me some questions, because I got some things I want to say that Hashem did with me in my journey. I was coaching if you don't mind, I want to tell a little story about something that happened to me that I learned about the power of words. I was coaching Little League football with my youngest son, Isaiah. I have 6 children, I forgot that. I have 6 children. I have 5 boys. My oldest one is Calvin. He played in the NFL. He played with the San Diego Chargers. And him and Ben Rosenberger, so I know you people heard his name. They played together in college. And then my next son is an attorney in Vegas. And then my next son, he actually married a Sephardic girl. And I have a Jewish grandson. His name is Yehuda Mordecai. So, and he can't wait to get to Israel. He's like, Bobby, take me to Israel. So we got to get him to Israel. And then our next son is living in Columbus with us. And our next son, Isaiah, he just came back from Israel. Actually, he just came from traveling the whole world. He went to New Zealand, stayed in New Zealand for about 8 months, worked there, then went to Australia, and then went to Bali, and then came to Israel to be with his mom while she was there for about a week. And then our daughter, she's a nurse at OSU in the brain and spine unit, and she wanted to be a nurse since she was a little 7 years old. But I want to tell you a little story about the power of words that really, really hit me one time. I was coaching, and then a young boy came in. He wanted to play football. And he comes in to where the sign-ups was. It was in a church. And so this boy comes in, and he's standing there, and I'm standing next to him. He comes standing next to me, and his mom's standing next to him. And he had a baseball hat on. And the coach on the other side said, "Young man, you need to remove your hat." And he goes, "I'm wearing it for religious purposes." So the coach had to get more firm. He said, "I said, young man, take your hat off." I'm like, uh-oh. And then his mom, a Jewish mom, tells him, because I didn't know he was Jewish. She tells him, "Didn't he tell you he was wearing it for religious purposes?" So the boy went up, took his hat off. And he's next to me. I said, "Young man, you Jewish?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Put your hat back on." Then I went up to the coach while they went away. I said, "Coach, do you know you just taught that man to disrespect his religion and his father?" He was like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Because he's Jewish. You know what it took for him to come in here." And his mom told him, "I told you you should have had your kippah on." But then I was talking after a game that he finally came and he played. And so I'm talking to him and my son and all the parents and everything, and I'm talking. And I see this father, and he's got a negative vibe. You know what I'm talking about when you see somebody who doesn't look right? Well, his body language was real negative. And after I was done speaking, I said, "At least you're here for your son." And then I just left it like that and went on. 5 years later, I'm getting ready to speak at my daughter's school. And this man comes up to me. He says, "I need to talk to you." I said, "Well, I'm getting ready to go talk." He said, "No, I need to talk to you, really." He said, "That day that you said, 'At least you're here for your son,' he said, I was going to kill myself that night." He said, "But I couldn't because your words kept saying, 'At least you're here for your son.'" Then I realized, I said, "Oh my gosh, our words are so powerful." Hashem spoke and everything happened. We as Jews speak and it happens. We don't realize the power of our words. And we need to be very careful in what we say to each other. We really need to lift each other up with our words. We need to tell our wives how beautiful they are. And our wives tell our husband how handsome he is. Tell our children how beautiful and wonderful they are. Why? Because words are powerful. I can lift you up, elevate you, or I can kill you with words. I learned that. And I realized how important that I had to be in my words and my choice of words. And what I say to my wife and what I say to my children. Amuna and I made our dinner table a table of safe. At our dinner tables, when we were letting our children grow up, they can say anything they want and not get punished. I'm not going to tell you that was not easy. I heard things that I was like, as a father, I wanted discipline, but I had to listen. But I learned a lot of things about my children. And I learned how I had to pray for them and how I could help them. And how I can support. And it was also good for us as a husband and wife because also we too were able to speak and they couldn't say anything to us. And I just really think that what we need to do as Jews, we have a beautiful place to do that, don't we? Friday nights. Shabbos table is so beautiful. I love getting rid of my phone, getting rid of the TV. I have a TV, sorry. That's the part I'm still working on. My wife's already, get rid of television. I said, I'm only watching NASCAR and football. But I just love to still watch sports. So until Hashem's working on me on that, I'm getting a lot better.
Do his thing down the sideline.
But anybody have any questions for me? Yes, sir.
I'm curious if you could talk about what some of the reaction of your family, both siblings as well as children, were to the journey that you and Amuna have taken.
You remember Sammy Davis Jr.?
Yeah.
That's what they call me. Here comes Sammy, chopping the Jew. That's what they did. They just, my brothers and them, that's what they did. I was always a religious guy, a religious outcast guy, and my family knew that I was different, and they just said, that's Cal, that's who he is. He's always been searching, and I was searching for truth. And Judaism, I found truth. I found who I was, and my soul just lit up, and I want to be an inspiration. I want to be a help to my Jewish brothers and sisters so that we can bring Mashiach. And the only way we can bring Mashiach is we have to come together. We have to start talking about how can we get better? How can we embrace Hashem's Torah? And we said, we will listen and we will do. Why aren't we doing? Why aren't we doing? You ever ask yourself that question? We can dress, we can put the uniform on, right? But where are we? Where is our heart? And how am I speaking to my brother?
I wanted to ask about your decision to leave to Israel part-time, where you lived, and
Ma'ale Adumim and Mitzpeh Avodah.
Ma'ale Adumim?
Yep.
And what is it?
My wife is already there, believe it or not. There's a story behind that. 26 years ago, I told Hashem that I wanted to make my wife happy. This woman in the world, I didn't realize what I said. And when Hashem brought that back to my memory, when she said, I want to go to Israel early and set up, I'm like, oh, okay.
So you spent
She goes every 3 months and comes back because she did Aliyah. Now I'm doing Aliyah in June. Yes, so.
Do his thing. He's got a touchdown.
I mean, Israel just, Israel just does a lot. Israel, I didn't know how I was going to act the first time I went to Israel. When I first went there, Israel just snatched a hold of me and that was it. It was over. I was in tears everywhere I was going. I couldn't believe that I was seeing what I was seeing. And it grabbed a hold of me, and Hashem just kept loving on me and loving on me and loving on me. And he did the same thing that he was doing with me, with the kids that I met, the Jewish kids that I met, like at the school, that's it. He was doing the same thing in Israel. He was showing me that this is your path, son, that I can do that for the same thing that I'm doing with you here in America, I will do with you in Israel as well. And that's the beautiful thing about it. I can't speak Hebrew yet, but if Hashem will give me that ear to be able to do it, but until then, I'm just going to keep trying.
Most of my landing is English.
I know. I know that's what happens. That's a soft landing.
I go to school at Hannah-Sachs Bais Yaakov, and I'm friends with a lot of Braves there, and I think you should come speak at my school.
Wow. Well,
I'm leaving at 5:40 in the morning. So.
I would, why don't you talk to Hashem to get somebody to get it, to be able to get me to come, and I will come talk to you at school and talk to you, to the kids there. I love to talk to children because I want to hear their hearts. And how was your heart, young lady? Put you on the spot. You put me on the spot.
I consider it pretty good.
See, you're a smart woman, and you're a beautiful woman. May Hashem bless you, prosper you, and give you your heart's desire and find the right husband and raise the beautiful Jewish children.
It's just, okay, they're already there. I think you need to talk to Jews that are not yet comfortable with being Jewish. I want you to go out there and talk to people in Zoyam. You gotta grab them for our Rebbe.
Right. Well,
They have a Rebbe, and it just, you have to get out there because you're just beautiful. I feel like, because your background, you were a different kind of way of talking.
Right.
You just get talked by the rabbis, and if they don't come to shul, they don't hear the rabbi. You get all these ministers on the TV, and they're drawing them in.
Right.
Most successful minister, or whatever his title is, Jewish.
Right.
So it's because these Jews are not hearing it. I hope God gives you a way to get to talk to more people who are out there.
Mm-hmm. Well, he has, actually. He has started doing that. Yeah, there's been some opportunities that I was able to talk to Jews who are unaffiliated. Matter of fact, there was a basketball tournament that I did in Memphis where there were a lot of unaffiliated young Jewish boys that were there. And, I tell young kids, it's really funny because when I went to it's just coming to my mind, I didn't even talk about it, but the Bais Din. How many of you could think that you could go to a Bais Din and tell rabbis? One of them was a Chabad rabbi. And no, I think 3 of them were. Yeah, 3 of them were. And the 4th one wasn't. In Detroit, and tell them, hey, I want to be a Jew. And could you convince them? And a lot of Jews are like, what? You have to go? Yeah. You have to know a whole lot of things. How to set up a house, how to set up this, how to do that, how Shabbos is run. All the things we had to know. And then the rabbis were real smart because one would play you and the other one would play against you. And I was like, man, I don't think you like me. Because when we first went in, a girl who was already in the head of us, and she come out crying. I'm like, this is not good, honey. This is not good. And so then we went in, and the rabbi, he sat us down, and they said, why did you want to join the persecuted people? I said, Rabbi, you see the color of my skin. I said, I know about persecution, brother. You better come up with something else, brother, because that was not working.
And watch Mr. Murray do his thing down the sideline.
So, and then they see my confidence and my wife's confidence that, we were not going to back down. When we told him, he said, you can tell us no 1,000 times, and we'll come 1,001 to stop. We're just going to keep coming. So you might as well get yourselves ready, because we're not stopping. We're coming. And that was the attitude we came in with, because we said, you are not stopping this path. We are on it. We're going to be Jews. We know it. We know who we are. And it's hard when you think about that. It's a couple coming together, understanding, and going from Christianity to Judaism as a couple. Sometimes it's one person that gets in and the other one doesn't. But we both did, and we came. And as we were going through, the rabbis were doing their things. You know, gentlemen, I had to be recircumcised. Yes. When they told me that, I was like, what? Really? Yes, you do. And when that procedure was done and all those other things that I had to go through, it was really an eye-opener. But then that rabbi who was pushing so hard, he was smiling, I love you, brother. I was like, what? Where'd that come from? But it was really great, though. And they knew that I couldn't read the Siddur. And so the last time we met before they said, you're ready for conversion, they threw the Siddur in front of me and said, read it. I was crying. I was like, honey, I'm sorry. We're not going to be Jews because I can't read it. And she could read Hebrew, but I couldn't. And so we practiced and several months in practice. And so I had to learn the whole Shema. I had to learn the whole Shema in Hebrew and be able to say it and read it. And I did that. I learned it. I said, bam, I'm ready to go. I was like, yeah, I'm pumped up. I got it. I'm ready. All right, Rabbi, you're ready to go, man. They said, all right, let's go to the mikveh. What? I don't have to say this? I didn't have to do it. Oh, so thank you, God. I thank Hashem so much I couldn't believe it. I was like, I didn't have to do it.
Well, that young man's having a rather decent day.
And I think I knew what they were doing. They were testing. They were seeing, where are you? And where is your relationship? And a lot of you, Hashem is doing that with us right now. He's saying, where are you? When Adam and Eve sinned, where are they? And where are we?
He said, just on that question, I'm wondering, I'm assuming there's a lot of things that you gave up.
Oh, yeah.
What would you tell someone, even amongst the Jewish world, that they're like, I live a life of pleasure,
right.
I got it, I got everything I want.
Yep.
What would you tell them?
Man, I tell you, I didn't realize what I was giving up. Because, the rabbis, they said when they were telling us, I said, I'm going to be an Orthodox Jew, I'm going to give up. But I didn't realize I had to give up Robert Evans, McDonald's. I had to give up a lot of things on Shabbos because there were football games that I was always a real big part of my life. I had to give that up. I had to give up going to those games. I had to give up, we had NFL alumni events and everything. I couldn't do those anymore. No kosher food. When my work, my job, everybody's bringing food in. I can't eat it. They said, man, all you rabbi got to do is bless it. I said, no, that's not. They said, they don't make it kosher. The rabbi just bless it. No, it doesn't work like that. And they go, I feel sorry for you. I said, why you feel sorry for me? I'm happy. I said, because what we do is we elevate everything. Oh, yes. I said, when we're going to eat bread, we elevate it. We say a blessing, and we say a blessing after eating bread. We bless everything we do. I had a young African-American boy, he was thinking about becoming a Jew. But you know why he chose not to? He said the Muslim pray 5 times and we pray 3 times. I said, buddy, you just misunderstood that because we're constantly in prayer. We're always praying about something, somewhere, something happened. We're praying. We're moving over here. We're just asking Hashem for travel. We're going up here. We ask Hashem for this. We ask Hashem for that. If you are truly doing that. Because some of us say we do it and we don't do it. Till something happens. One of the things that bothers me is when people are talking and they're calling out the names of those who are sick. That's a very critical time. That's not a time to be having personal conversations. And we as Jews need to know that there is a time. Who should we be talking to? Hashem gave us 6 days to have all the conversation you want. He said, I only want one. Just one. And not even really one. It's less than 24 hours to give to me. So I try to myself. I don't tell people what to do. I try to model it. Because when you model it, then people respect you when they go, you know what? I see you doing that, then I'm going to do it. It's just something for us to think about. Think about when we're in the shul, who should we really be talking to? Who should we be talking to? Because Hashem says, I want to hear from you. You know that? Hashem wants to hear from all of you brothers.
Yosef,
And sisters. The women like, what do you know about us? Well, see, y'all already have the connection, but as guys, we got to work a little harder at it. Yes.
Yosef, you said that your connection, your first connection, besides your feelings and growing up, your first connection was someone told you that Xmas was a pagan. So how do you go from there to actually taking the steps to going through the conversion, and hooking up with you're hooked up with the shliach in Ohio, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in Columbus. So how did you go from that realization that there's this pagan influence in in the religion that you were in to actually taking those steps?
That's a beautiful thing about that. But a lot of that is in the book.
It's right there.
So I don't have to say it, but it's in the book. But that is the whole drive of learning. Huh? Oh, that's the whole journey about our journey was those steps, taking those steps. Just like what I did in football, we have what they call, and I'll show it to you. But in football, there's a little, when you're a tailback or everything, you take a read step, and they call it a read step.
Yeah,
Read step means the step you're going to take to be in the right place at the right time. Because if you're not there when that hole opens up, because the hole is like this, bang! That's how fast. And so you have to hit it right. And if you take a false step, you're not going to get there on time. The same thing was in Judaism. You're not doing the right thing at the right time. We're on the wrong page, and everybody else is on the other page. Same thing. We end up getting the bump. And I really just thank Hashem for what He's done in allowing me to take the steps in the right direction. Because it wasn't easy. I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to have a lot of good friends. There's a lot of guys a couple guys that I played ball with. They totally wrote me off. They won't even talk to me. They won't return my calls. And I was shocked. All the people that was in the church, that were all the kids that I was working with, they said, Murray's number out. Don't talk to him. All those people left. And I was like, what did we do wrong? All we were doing was just becoming a Jew. That's all. And a lot of people don't want that. And that's when you really find out what people are made of. And there's a lot of anti-Semitism that's out in this country. Because a lot of people don't realize that I'm a Jew because I'm black and I got a hat on. And if I don't have my ZZs out, then they don't know. I try to go incognito so that I can play let me see what you really are made of. And let me see what you really going to say. So then I'll know who you really are and who I'm dealing with. I'll know if you really are one of my brothers or if you really are an enemy of me. So I don't put my ZZs out. And then I hear them say all these things, Jews do this. I'm like, hold up, man, I'm a Jew. I didn't know that. I'm sure you get it, don't you, brother? Yeah. See, he's on the talk now.
Do his thing.
Are at a wait and see.
And waiting to see if you're still going to be Jewish.
Yes. Yes. Because they said, think about it. All your life we taught them to be a great Christian. And now we said, that's wrong. We said, now I'm a Jew. We say, okay, now we're going to see how long you do this. See if you're real. And what's been amazing, one of our sons who has a Jewish son, he actually came to us and said, he's thinking about it because he's seeing what it's done to his father and his stepmother. And he's seeing the change. And he said, if there's any religion out there that's real and true, he said it's Judaism. And all our sons and daughters have told us all the same thing. They see it, they know that it's true, but they were just like I was. Man, I don't want to take all that. Can't do this, can't do that, can't go over here. They want to still have what they think is their freedom. They don't realize. And Shabbos is free. You're free. It's not a trap. It's free. It's beautiful to just escape from the whole world. Because what I do is, in a living, I work with kids.
It's right there.
Have a family. Because there's kids who would love to trade your position. So appreciate what you have. Anybody else? Awesome.
What kind of impact you said before the child said, "Oh, my son's not for sale," and you didn't let you? What kind of impact did that have on you that you didn't get all this, whatever you were trying to evaluate?
What kind of impact that had on me?
Were you upset about it?
No, I respected my father. I figured my father knew better than I did. And I trusted the lead of my father. I didn't know. I was a young kid. We learn now in our field, we learn now that the human brain is not fully developed until you're 26. And some of them aren't even developed yet.
Yosef,
Can you talk about some examples from your sports experience that helped you in your Jewish experience? Maybe different lessons that you learned from playing ball that were useful in your adaptation to Torah?
Yeah. We pray 3 times a day, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I knew that.
Well, in Judaism, it's over and over and over again. We read the Torah over. Well, in football, we do the same thing. Everything we do is over and over and over again. I have to learn a playbook that's thicker than. It's about. A playbook is about these 3 books together. And we learn about 30 to 40 plays and various different formations and strategies and everything. And we have to learn that in a meeting. So we meet, right, to pray. Well, we meet in football to learn what we're going to have to go do. We have meetings. In Judaism, we constantly study. Well, in football, we study. But there's one thing that in football you don't do in Judaism.
Put the guy in your mouth.
That. But could you imagine? All right, we had Shabbos today, right? We enjoy Shabbos. Hashem goes and turns on TV, and he shows you how you see it today.
He's got a touchdown.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, whoa! Hashem's like, well, yeah, you were sitting here talking to such and such. You were talking to me. And you was doing like this, but you was talking to somebody else. Hashem says, okay, you didn't run that, you didn't do that right. You mistreated this person over here. That's a different story, isn't it? You get graded. When I was in the NFL, they grade you on every position, everywhere you're standing. When you're in a play that's being formed, that is done, if you're in the back of the line, you might as well get ready to say bye-bye, because they expect you to be in the front. You understand the mindset? Everything is always, you got to be the best. You got to give your best every single time. That's why I can't wait. I'm the first one in the shul in Columbus. I can't wait. I'm there at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Where's everybody? It's too early, Murray. We don't come till 6:45. Some people don't start showing until almost 7 o'clock when we're almost done. But you understand, that's the things that we learn from athletics. Athletics is repetitive over till you're perfected, till it becomes you. I can visualize and see what I'm going to do on a play. And now I'm taking what I did in that visualization and using it and diving and trying to get myself in that close, intimate relationship with Hashem.
He's dead center.
So all those hits that I took, and people ask me, what's a hit feel like? I said, it's like your insides get knocked outside of you, and then they come back in.
Describe the difference in the community being in America and Central Ohio and being in Israel for you and your wife.
Well, as a Kedusha in Israel, you know that there's no comparison to anywhere. That's our home. That's our homeland. That's what Hashem wants us. But I will say this about my Jewish brothers and sisters, that I've been well received as a black man here as well as in Israel. There's been no different. And I don't know how it's been for you, brother.
Well received. Well, very well received.
And that's very important. To be received, to be loved. The Jewish community has opened up and loved on me so much. You have loved the convert. You have done what Hashem has told you to do about the convert. Chicago's only one person looking at the Look at that. You're like, yeah. I ought to be happy. Because that's very important. How do you treat the convert? Because Hashem told you how to treat them. Correct? What did he tell you to do? I got you. What did he tell you to do?
Love the convert.
Love it. And how do you love the convert?
As yourself.
That's right. That's right. Well, you're some beautiful people. Thank you. Anybody else?
When you were in Chicago for the football, did you ever see the Jewish community?
Nope. I was a Chicago Bear. Did I tell you all that?
No.
Yeah, I was with the Chicago Bears for 3 weeks. 86, right after their Super Bowl.
Wow.
Super Bowl shuffle, man. I was like, man, gosh, why don't you just let me come and just run? But I know there's a story to that. I asked Hashem. I said, Hashem, because Mike Tomczak, and he's a Buckeye, and him and I were playing in a charity basketball game in Ohio. So we had several basketball games we were playing. And he went back to the Bears. The Bears said, we need a running back. And he said, oh, Cal Murray's available. I just played basketball with him. He's in shape. So the Bears called me up and said, hey, man, we want to bring you into camp. I said, all right, great, because I had prayed and asked Hashem, I want to get back in the NFL.
Well, that young man's having a rather decent day.
I want to get back in the NFL. Hashem got me in the NFL. But I didn't tell you another thing. I used to start a Bible study because I had a coach in my 9th grade. His name was Mr. Wright. He's now passed. And we started the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. So I started it in high school. I started it at Ohio State. When I was with the Philadelphia Eagles, I started it there. And I said, where's God in this? Where's God? You don't have God. And so the athlete said, fine, well, we'll have it at your place. I said, I'm a rookie. So what, you open your mouth? We'll come into your place and study the Word of God. Then one day I got a phone call. Picked up the phone, said, hello, this is Julius. I said, who? Julius Irving. Y'all know who that is? Dr. J. That's like LeBron James saying, I'm coming over your house to study the Word of God with you. And Dr. J came over to my apartment, him and his wife, Turquoise, And he brought a lot of the other 76ers, Moses Malone and all of them. And here I am, little old rookie guy, with all these big name players coming to my little apartment to hear the word of God.
It's right there. And watch Mr. Murray do his thing down the sideline.
I tell kids, you don't know how God can use you. Some think, well, but he used me. And it was amazing when I went to the Bears. And I said, let's start it again. And I was so happy God got me back in the NFL. Yes, thank you, God. You're so beautiful. Bam! Full go. We were doing full go. Mike Singletary, you know, talking about something scare you. His little eyes, you know, he's doing that. And he was like, and all the rest of the guys all fired up. Now, this is the number one defense in the NFL. And this full go. And it was my turn to carry the ball. So I'm coming up, I get the hand off McMahon, and I'm getting ready to cut up. Bam, 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 bam. I'm like, oh. I'm laying on the ground hollering, I can't feel my legs. I couldn't feel my legs. My right leg didn't come back until an hour later, and the other leg, left leg came back like 2 or 3 hours later. So they took me off to the hospital. This same doctor that did, oh gosh, I can see his name now, it slipped my mind. He was paralyzed by Stingman.
Yeah.
The same doctor that saw me, he said, Cal, you have a narrow spinal canal. You should have never played football.
Wow.
And my career was over with. And I cried. And I cried. And I was upset with God. I called him God then. But Hashem, I was upset. I was so upset. Then I said, Hashem, why did you do this to me? You didn't ask to stay. So I told this is some of the Yeshiva boys in Israel. And they had one boy had a big decision he had to make that he needed to do, whether he was going to stay or move. I said, when you ask Hashem for something, you tell him every single detail things that you said. Because if you ask Hashem and you miss something out that you really wanted, and he gives you that, you can't complain and say, oh, Hashem, what? No, that's what you asked for. I asked to get back in the NFL. He got me back in the NFL. Then he said, it's over with. Now you're going to serve me. And so that's what I'm doing now. Anybody else?
You said your goal was to play for the Eagles.
Right.
You were picked by them, like Chicago Melaveh.
Yes, I was drafted by the Eagles in the 4th round in 1980.
So you're thinking like, well, like, you know, this is out of 32 teams or less.
Huh?
I mean, out of all the teams, and they're the ones you wanted to go to, they're the ones who picked you.
Yep. It was Dick Vermeil. And Dick Vermeil and I are real close today. He actually, I talk to him, you know, about every 6 months, and he said if anybody who ran, like you saw the run that you saw in the video where I was playing against UCLA.
It's right there.
When we came back, we actually had to come from behind and win that game. And what I didn't tell you what the pilot did. The pilot got permission for us to fly over the Rose Bowl. And he tilted the plane to the left and to the right.
Wow.
And we were singing a song that Ain't No Stopping Us Now. There was a song out like that. And we started singing Ain't No Stopping Us Now. We're on the way to the Rose Bowl. And we started singing that, and we actually went back and started the Big Ten, knocked everybody off, and came back to the Rose Bowl that year. And that's what we did it that year. That was the year.
Cal, what was the worst loss you ever recall?
Michigan. That was the worst loss. Michigan was the worst loss that I experienced. It hurt me most. I was crying like a baby. It was my senior. It was at home, my senior year, my last game of playing football at Ohio State. I lost to Michigan. I was like, man. And you know, there was a time I still had nightmares about it because, you know, I'm over that. It's not controlling me, folks, okay? But it bothers me. And I still remember catching a pass from Art Schleister. And I was running, and all I had to do, I heard this voice say, stop! And if I would have stopped when I looked at film, if I'd have stopped, they would have kept going. I would have cut behind them, and I would have scored, and we would have won the game. I didn't stop, and he tackled me right there. I was like, oh God. He said, Hashem taught me another lesson. When I say stop, you stop. When I say go, you go. Anybody else?
What's your Michigan now? What's your Michigan now?
What's my Michigan now? Oh, my mission.
No,
Your Michigan.
My,
Your challenge.
What's your challenge?
What's your biggest challenge now, I think is what he's trying to say.
oh,
Yeah.
my biggest challenge now is to be a true representation of Hashem in the world, to be a light to the nation, to be a light to my Jewish brothers and sisters. I want the light of Hashem that's within me to light the light that's within me, the spark that's in my brother or my sister, so that they will take a hold of who they are as Jews and be willing to stand up before the world and be proud Jews, and will lock arms and say, yes, we are the people of Hashem, and we will be that until the Hashem sends Mashiach. That's my passion, bro.
A heck of a run by Murray.
Excuse me, I was curious, have you done any genealogical studies whether there's any Jewish blood in your heritage, in your ancestors?
I wonder because my grandfather used to leave a corner of the field. And he only had a third grade education and he couldn't read. So how did he know to do that? So there, and then I was talking to my father's brother, and for some reason at 70-some years old, he says, you know, we kept all the Jewish holidays and everything. We went to Jewish day school. I'm like, what? So there you go. So something was in the past. And Hashem put this soul.
That's known the Pintele Yid. You have that Jewish spark in your soul.
Yes. Thank you, my good brother. How long you been a Jew? Huh?
All my life.
Oh, there you go. See, he read the right answer. Anybody else?
My wife.
I don't know how much time, what time this is supposed to be.
Right now, you talk to people, people have questions, and they wanna.
Yosef.
You made your flight tomorrow.
Anybody else?
Yosef.
Yes, sir.
You had the ability to play for the two post Super Bowl teams,
Right.
and so what was it like? What was the experience? Any great stories? I mean, I know you said your time with the Bears was only 3 weeks, but that was one of the most colorful teams of all time.
Right.
And the playing with the Philadelphia as well.
Well, there's a story. When I was in the 9th grade, I was telling you in 9th grade, and you talk about the power of words. Well, Harold Carmichael played for the Philadelphia Eagles, and they had Jim McCormick was the head coach, and in Wildwood, New Jersey, they had a camp, and my father took me to that camp in the 9th grade. Harold Carmichael walks up to me, and I'm running drills and doing different things. Harold Carmichael goes, young man, you have the ability to make it. And it was really funny when I walked into the locker room. I said, Harold, remember me? And he goes, oh my gosh. I said, yeah, that's why you got to watch what you say. And then I had the great honor of meeting Walter Payton, and who was such a class act. And I learned, I said, Walter, why are you so great? What is your secret? I want your secret because I want to be Walter Payton. And he said, you want my job. I said, that's it? And then I understood what he meant. I'm going to outwork you. I'm going to outperform you. I'm going to give my all so that you don't replace me. And that's the attitude that we should have as Jews.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that you're living proof that there are non-Jews in the world that
of godly souls, because you were born non-Jewish, and you know, of course, everyone has choices and all that, but you chose to become Jewish. But
Best choice I made. Best choice. And the ladies, y'all look tired over there. I'm fired up now. I'm good. We in the locker room now. See, y'all never been in a locker room, have you? They stink, believe me. Anybody else? We all good for the one more?
You ever have a Jewish teammate?
Huh?
Ever have a Jewish teammate?
Yeah. Yeah. His name was John Frank. He played for the 49ers. He was in the Super Bowl. He played with Montana. Yep, he was a tight end. And it was really an amazing story with John Frank. He's a doctor now, and he's very orthodox now. As a matter of fact, he didn't play. There was a game on Yom Kippur, and John didn't play because he was Jewish. Yes.
Have you ever met the Goodman boy from Baltimore known as Jewish Jordan?
Jewish Jordan.
Very good.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
If you could meet one individual throughout history and ask them a question, who would it be and what would that question be?
That's an easy one.
Yeah?
Yeah, Yosef, bro.
What would you ask him?
I would ask him a lot of intimate questions about some of the things I didn't understand why he chose to do the things he did. But I emulate what he stands for, and I want to be that what he has. And Moses is my other brother that I would love to talk to, because they'll start on another level that, and Joshua. I would love to be right there like Joshua was sitting there waiting for Moses to come down from the mountain and hear what Hashem has said.
I just wanted to thank you because before this, I'm not into sports. I don't know what sports you are, but you taught me that even football can be spiritual, and anything can be spiritual if you look at it the right way.
That's right.
So thank you.
Oh, you're such a beautiful. Oh, I thank you for that. You're my little cheerleader. Very good. Thank you.
And watch Mr. Murray.
Yosef, you mentioned what it's like to see that offensive line open up the spot, a hole for you.
Right.
Now, you've seen that as a running back.
Right.
Now, as a Yid, as a Jew, do you see that lines open for Jews? And if so, what's holding Jews back?
What's holding Jews back is Jews themselves. I mean, we're our own biggest enemy. We attack each other like, if we actually were a football team and Hashem wasn't with us, we would lose every game. Because we're too busy self-fighting, infighting. We shouldn't be infighting. We should learn. That's why we read the Torah. And we see where our brothers and sisters infighted, well, not so much the sisters, but the brothers infighted, and we should learn from that. Because one of the things that Coach Hayes always did with us, he took a black athlete and he took a white athlete and he made them room together, and he said, you guys get to know each other. He said, because if you guys are divided, he said, we're going to lose. We can't have any division. We have to be unified. And they even asked Coach, a lot of people don't know, Coach Hayes made $35,000. You know what Urban makes? $7 million. Look at the contrast. They asked Woody, you want more money? Woody said, no. He said, if I took more money, he said, I'd be looking more at my investments than I would my boys. We were his value. And when we complain, one second, when we complain, I remember we complained about our legs hurting. He didn't say one word. He took us to Children's Hospital where kids were facing death, kids who were burnt, kids who just had all kinds of different diseases and weren't going to make it. And they had smiles on their face to meet us. And I said, I got the message, Coach. Got the message.
He just kept on churning.
Here's a real quick little nugget. Everything we do, we elevate to Hashem.
It's right there.
Did y'all know that there's 9 Jewish owners? Yeah, 9. Out of 33 teams, I think it is now. 33 teams, 9 of them won. And guess who's been winning the Super Bowls? Jews. Jewish owners.
Minnesota.
Yep.
He just kept on churning.
The issue of anti-Semitism really bothers me. And you spoke about how it wasn't until after you became Jewish that you came to see how...
It's right there.
Education is always a good way. They asked me, like, I work with all Christians. I'm in education, did all of them Christians. And just like they asked me about koshering. If I bought everything that was kosher, could you eat it? I said, no, because your kitchen is not kosher. And then they said, well, I said, then you have to have a Jew light your stove. There's so many things that you wouldn't understand that goes into what we do. So some of the things I don't like explaining to them because they don't understand. I said, but just show respect for what I do and what I'm doing. And don't put down when you don't understand and make negative comments. Because if we don't start standing up as Jews, the world right now is they're trying to find ways to get into our yeshivas and to our seminaries to make them teach secular information. And it's not right. So we better wake up. And we better unite together. And Jews are very, very smart people. And we got to learn to protect who we are and our identity, especially here in America. Because it's changing. And if we stay silent, they're just going to keep right on going because there's no competition saying stop. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, we're right in here enjoying this time, but in reality, they're out there working their behinds off trying to change the legislation so that they can go do what they want to do. So it's just real hard. Thank you.
We're going to bench. The rapport's going to make him zoom in. Yosef is going to stay here. He has his book. He's happy to autograph it for you if you'd like to purchase it. We thank everybody very much for coming, and we should gather together for happy things. Go teams.
He just kept on churning.
Everything we do, we elevate to Hashem.
It's right there. The Goodyear Blimp Columbia, giving you that picture of Los Angeles on a gray, hazy September day. And it's first down Ohio State. At the 34-yard line of UCLA, the ball is given to Murray. Murray's out in the open. He's a heck of a runner. He's down the sidelines. He's got a touchdown, Ohio State. A heck of a run by Murray. Nobody could get a hook on him, and he just kept on churning and broke it and went 34 yards for a touchdown, and the Buckeyes are back in the ball game. Murray's now carried 9 times for 95 yards. So that young man's having a rather decent day. He's dead center. They've got 4 minutes and 53 seconds to play in a ball game, and suddenly Ohio State's right there. And watch Mr. Murray do his thing down the sideline.
On a draw play, you invite the defense to cross the line of scrimmage, and the ball carrier just looks for a hole. Now watch number 37, I believe it is, Hicks, going to make the key block right there on Hubbard, number 2, which delays Hubbard just enough for Murray to break into the end zone and score. Great effort from Hicks and great effort by Murray.
Keiliat